They came from all over New England to compete for one goal, one hope. Almost 300 men and women chasing a dream, a trip to Las Vegas, and a chance to play against the world's best poker players on the game's biggest stage. Now, only 4 remain with the skill, patience, and luck to make it to the televised final table. Only one player will win the opportunity of a lifetime to represent Eastern Poker Tour in the World Series of Poker's main event.
Well, welcome back to the Eastern Poker Tour's Tournament of Champions. I'm your host, Bernard Lee, here with Spiro Mitrakostas. We are down to the Final Four here in the Eastern Poker Tour Championship presented to you by Bodog. We're here in Westport, Massachusetts at the final table of the Eastern Poker Tour Tournament of Champions. The Eastern Poker Tour is a series of free tournaments that are held throughout New England. The winner of each event receives an entry into today's Tournament of Champions. 267 players have battled it out for 2 days, and after intense action, we are down to our final 4, all vying for that ultimate prize, the 2008 World Series of Poker main event seat. Spiro, what do you think about the Final Four
I'm getting excited for this Final Four. There's no doubt that Greg's the chip leader, and he's in control, and he's played the best by far. But all 3 other players are each just one hand away from doubling up and tying Greg for the chip lead.
No, absolutely. It really is Greg's tournament to lose right now, but one mistake can be the difference of taking home the ultimate prize and also walking home empty-handed. So let's see where the chip counts are right now with our Final Four.
Greg is still holding off BJ as our chip leader, but this is poker and anything can happen. Your EPT chip count is presented by Bodog and PlayEPTOnline.com.
Now that the stage is set, let's get down to the action. The blinds are 30,000 and 60,000, and it looks like Justin, who's under the gun, has limped in.
60?
Well, with 4 players, practically every hand is playable, so I guess playing a deuce 4 is as good as anything.
BJ's checked in the big blind, but he hasn't even checked his cards yet.
That's strange, to be playing for a seat to the World Series of Poker and not even looking at your cards.
That's all you can go.
I'll check.
Flop comes up ace 10-9. BJ checks without even again looking at his cards.
And Justin didn't take advantage by making a play.
Check.
Well, now Justin actually hit a piece of it. He's actually paired his 2.
Make me look at it already.
I'm going.
BJ's checked again.
Could have waited for
Without
the
looking at his cards.
Amazing.
If I got 2 clubs, you're in trouble.
This is a stunning development here.
Still would be on
Seems that BJ is not looking at his cards and wanting to hope that he hits some piece of that flop.
I've never seen this strategy before, to be honest with you. We've seen 4 cards, and he still hasn't looked at his hand. And now Justin hits a pair, and he makes a bet.
Well, it looks like he has queen 7, and he really didn't have much of it either way. However, if he bet the flop,
He would have won this hand.
Absolutely,
yes.
could have taken this pot down.
And now he can't call this bet, and he threw away his chips for nothing. Very, very peculiar play at this stage of the ball game.
Shouldn't have checked and looked blind.
In a day where today dreams will be shattered and a champion will be born, this is not the way to start this timeout. So poor play by BJ, and I hope that he can come back and recover from this, because if not, he will be going home empty-handed.
And looking back at this hand is a possible reason.
Blinds again are 30,000 and 60,000.
Actions first to you, Joe. Raise an ounce.
And he raised to 100, but I believe he's got to raise a minimum of 120 here.
Yep.
All right.
He
saw his error and corrected it.
Makes it 120. Right. 120 to call.
And Greg doing the smart thing again, taking his time, analyzing his opponent.
Well, of all the players at the table, Joe has definitely played the most tight and solid ball. So I think that even though Greg is holding jacks right here, he does have to be slightly worried that Joe could have him dominated.
But he's doing the right thing. He's putting the pressure on, and he's making a healthy raise here.
Absolutely. I believe he's making a 360, so he's raising 240 more just to Joe.
Decision easy.
He just wants me to all in BJ.
Why don't you play your cards?
Oh, fine.
BJ may have a decision here, which would make this hand extremely interesting.
How much is it?
360,000.
BJ's asked for a count. This hand could really, really set the tone for the final four.
I really like the way Greg is playing and the way his whole demeanor. Just sitting back, relaxed, not giving anything away.
Suck, why couldn't you just call?
I don't like that.
I know you don't.
BJ might have a big hand
You got a
himself
good
here.
hand, though. Too many people
I'm
behind
very
me.
curious to see what he has here.
I'd be very curious to see what his assessment of
many
the
options.
There is. I know there's only 2 of them, but I mean, still. I'm not sure
Waiting
that.
for you.
Oh, man,
I'm gonna fold.
I gotta fold.
Well, BJ
hate
does
you,
finally
but I gotta
fold.
A
Justin
painful
I
folds.
had
fold.
you beat right now.
Well, Joe's got to make a very, very important decision right now for basically his tournament life.
I'm on.
And he moves all in. And I don't think that Greg's going to lay down his jacks here.
Wow.
I just don't think he
Alright,
can.
Greg.
He's put in so many chips,
And he does call.
and I think that Greg is going to be very pleased to see not 2 overs.
I had a
that
feeling
he's
that's what you
only-
had.
All he's got to do is avoid the ace now,
Come on, ace.
and it'll be a serious chip leader with only 3 people to go.
Definitely glad I folded.
And BJ just announced that he's happy that he folded, so he obviously didn't have jacks beat. And Greg again has played another hand perfectly. Let's see what the cards bring.
Well, of all the players who played extremely tight at the table, a double up by Joe here could really bring him back in the tournament. Let's see what happens. It's a very interesting flop here.
Jack or an ace.
Right now, Joe has got a gut shot straight draw, but unfortunately,
Club,
the gut
jack,
shot straight that he needs
Something.
are the jacks, and that's 2 of them are being held by Greg.
Oh, now the board pairs, so
Now
now
show
the
the
jack
jack.
is no good for Joe, because if he makes a straight,
I'm not sure
Greg
that you
makes
want
a
the
full
jack,
house.
show it now.
So, right now,
Jack.
he's got 3 outs. And the jack comes for a full house. And look at the excitement in Greg's face. This is the first time we've seen him so excited.
absolutely, the
He's
emotion
been very
is finally,
reserved.
The emotion is absolutely coming out right now for Greg. Greg, I think, realizes that this could become a reality, and he could be taking a trip out to Las Vegas this summer.
Well played tournament by Joe, leaving with class.
Unfortunately, again, there's only 1 winner, and that makes this tournament very, very unique and very, very special, but a lot of heartbreak for about 266 players. So Joe is eliminated in 4th place, playing a very, very tight, aggressive style at the table. Unfortunately, just ran into a phenomenal hand from Greg. Greg has really taken a huge command of this final table now.
Well, he's got more than 2/3 of the chips in play, and it's going to be very, very difficult for Justin and BJ to come back. Let's see what happens from here.
Visit EasternPokerTour.com to see how you can be at the next final table. Welcome back. Joe has been eliminated in 4th place, and Greg's lead has increased, while Justin has moved past BJ on the leaderboard. Your EPT chip count is presented by Bodog and PlayEPTOnline.com.
Well, Joe has been eliminated in 4th place. He has played a tight, aggressive style all day and has really held on till 4th place. He was short stacked. If he doubled up once, he could have had a chance, but unfortunately, his solid ace-10 just ran into Greg's jacks, and he was eliminated in 4th. It's really set up a phenomenal situation for Greg right now.
Well, being that his hand held up there, he's got more than 2/3 of the chips in play, and it's going to be very difficult for Justin and BJ to come back. Let's see what happens from here.
30,000.
Back down to the final 3. Blinds again are 30,000 and 60,000. action is on BJ as Greg seems that he's folded the button. BJ just calls the big blind with 8-10
Raise it
offsuit.
240.
Justin's going to have no part of that, and he's going to re-raise to 210 with Big Slick.
Well, Ace King is definitely a good hand, and there's no way. Oh,
Calls.
wow, that was fast.
Well, BJ made a very big slip up right here. He's pushed all in. Ace King, obviously, Justin's going to make the quick call. And we'll now see if his
He must have
aggressive-
thought that Justin was bluffing, and he definitely wasn't bluffing, and now he's a 3-2 underdog.
Well, we'll see if BJ's aggressive play is going to pay off or send him home empty-handed.
Both players have approximately equal amount of chips here. I'm very curious to see if BJ will be eliminated if he doesn't come back to win this hand.
No, absolutely, but either way, whoever loses this hand is going to be very, very low on chips.
He'll
And
be crippled, maybe have only a big blind left.
let's see what happens on the flop.
350? 350 something? 3.
Well, the flop doesn't hit anybody, and Justin is still soundly in the lead. BJ is going to need a 10 or an 8 or 2 runners.
2 running cards to make a straight.
Yeah, I got the rags. See a 10 on the river.
And with a jack on the turn, and now he's down to just 6 outs, and it looks like BJ's tournament will be shortly over.
It's all yours. What do I owe you?
And the river's a 4, and now they're going to count down to chips.
Well, we'll see right now if BJ has survived or if he is going to be our 3rd place finisher.
Justin's patience paid off there.
Absolutely. He's really played a patient game just like Joe did, and right now he could be playing heads up for the title.
410,000.
3.
I don't think BJ has 400,000.
You might even have me. 410.
These are the blinds. 60 each.
He's got me.
300.
Well, right now BJ has been eliminated. He was covered by 10,000 chips. Unbelievable. A major, major slip up right there by BJ.
Good job. Good showing.
And there you see Greg and Justin shaking hands and wishing each other good luck, as they will be the final 2 people.
Well, another dream has been shattered, but now one of these 2 gentlemen, their dream of going to the World Series main event is just about to become a reality.
It would feel great to make it there, to be there amongst the greatest players in the world, which I'm far not.
Get to go to Vegas again. Not that, no, it's not that big of a deal. I don't get out of control. I don't let things bother me too much, so it gets me through life.
I would just hope to, not to be the first to be knocked out, and hopefully I did well, and hopefully I didn't lose any money on the side in Vegas, because I like it. I like the crap table. It's fun.
So let's go to the heads up action. Blinds are 30 and 60. And for people to understand, when you're in heads up play, it's slightly different because the button is the small blind and the other player is the big blind. Seems a little bit unusual, but just everyone understand that the button is a small blind.
Calls 30. Option.
200,000.
And Greg asserted
200,000.
his dominance again by raising with an ace-9, and Justin folded immediately, and he wins the first hand of heads-up play.
Well, it really shows that he's going to increase his chip lead and extend that 3.51 a chip lead to potentially about 4-1.
Justin still has a chance, but he needs 2 double-ups, and he's got to make something happen very quickly.
Absolutely. Greg, although he has a huge chip lead, still cannot make a huge mistake, or else it will allow Justin to come right back in this match.
This time it's going to be Greg's turn to act first. He picks up a paltry queen-2 of diamonds.
But he will assert his aggressiveness and his chip stack. He's going to raise again here.
He's doing the right thing here.
Again, 120,000. Again, Justin lays it down. So Greg's going to wield his big chip stack and continue to pick up these pots. Justin's going to have to pick up a hand if he wants to double up.
Log on to playeptonline.com to play online and win a free seat at the next final table.
I never thought I'd make it this far. My plan was to just come here and slow play and hopefully gather a few chips for the second day and hopefully hit a few hands, and fortunately I did that.
I'm just glad that it was worth it to drive all the way back down here. Because I didn't. Yesterday leaving, I was on tilt for the last half hour, just trying to lose or make enough worth it to come back. So it's definitely worth it to come back.
We're back down to heads-up play. Blinds are 30 and 60. Well, unfortunately, Justin has picked up the worst hand in poker. Not the best thing you can do when you're trying to double up. And of course, Greg has picked up an ace. So without seeing much of the betting, I think we know what's going to happen here. And that's exactly what it does. Justin folds, and Greg's going to pick up another pot. Well, now that we're at heads-up play between Greg and Justin, let's hear how both of them planned on playing the final table.
I hope I'm going to play the cards the same way. I hope that, you know, I don't overplay my hands and take them as they come, take the cards as they come. I mean, that's the best way to go, I believe, in this tournament.
Just got to feel it out and see how it goes. Got to make the right bet.
Do you think Greg's been following what he said?
Oh, absolutely. He decided that he's going to play the cards, he's going to bet the cards. He got the cards, and he bet them correctly. He was able to read his opponents as well as anybody else at the final table.
No, absolutely. And Justin said he has to feel out his opponents and make the right bet when he has to. Well, unfortunately, he doesn't have a lot of time to feel out Greg heads up. He's going to have to find some cards, and he's going to have to make a move soon. Let's hope it's the right move, and he's able to survive and continue on in this heads-up battle. Let's go back to the action. Line still 30-60. Greg's first to act. Again, he's taking his time, seeing what's going to happen. He's picked up a good hand and heads up again, king-queen suited.
All right, Greg is first on you. 30,000 more to call.
$360.
And he raised 3 times the big blind to 360.
Well, Justin immediately goes all in, and there has been already a call. This could be the final hand of the tournament.
And Greg has got him dominated as a 2-to-1 favorite here for all the money.
Well, ironically, Justin eliminated BJ when BJ held 10-8. Now he may be eliminated holding 10-8 himself. Let's see if Greg's king-queen can hold up for him to take the title. One person is going to walk away a champion, and the other one is going to walk away empty-handed. Let's see if Justin can hold on to his dream.
Greg seems pretty relaxed here. Here comes the flop.
Oh, right on the door. Right on the door.
King right in the door.
I think Greg is realizing that his dream might come true, and Justin is realizing that he is going to need runner, or else his dreams are going to be shattered.
You have to feel for Justin here.
Oh, but here it is. He got one of the cards that he needed. He's picked up a 10. He now has 5 outs. There's always still a chance.
3 8s or 2 10s, so there still is life.
On to the river.
Will this be the last card? It is the last card. Congratulations, Greg. Well-deserved victory.
You can see the emotion. Greg was very, very stoic most of the way, but you can see how much this meant to him and unfortunately how dejected Justin is. Nice touch of class right there between the two.
What a tremendous finish to this great final table.
Absolutely. Well, let's try to get Greg in here for a final few words about his victory and what he plans on doing up until the World Series.
Log on to playeptonline.com to play online and win a free seat at the next final table.
There was a lot of good players, and I just played solid, and I won. I'm going to Vegas.
Well, we are here with the winner, Greg Spirito. Congratulations, Greg, on a fantastic tournament.
Thank you.
You know, when you started out this final table, you were very, very aggressive, and then you kind of settled in. What was your strategy going into the final table?
I believe that I was to take the same strategy I used throughout the tournament, play, you know, solid cards, bet them up nice, and, you know, hopefully the flops came to me.
Yep.
And I think it was my day. The flops really helped me out. I mean, every hand I was in, I hit a large percentage of the flops.
Right, no, absolutely. What we were very impressed about is that you utilized your chip stack when you had to, but you really made the correct laydowns, especially one of them was to BJ. When BJ had the kings and you had ace-jack, it was a critical, critical laydown, because if you make that call and lose that hand, it really flip-flops. BJ becomes the big chip leader. So how did you make the right decisions in your mind at the right time?
Well, like you said, I thought that, you know, ace-jack wasn't good enough then. You know, I felt how he was betting, and, you know, he was a little aggressive at the final table. You know, having that weak of a hand, I didn't feel like putting all my chips in at the time. I didn't think it was time. And, you know, I guess I made the right move.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You came into the final table as chip leader. You pretty much maintained it the whole way. But at what point did you really think this could really become a reality? I might go to Vegas this summer.
I felt pretty confident when I went up against Chris and I hit the flush. I made a move to see if she would call me, and I knew I can get her out of the hand. And once she did, I felt she was intimidated a little bit, and that I had a little power over the table just because of my chips. And it is true when they say when you have chips, you have power at a final table.
No, absolutely. And you utilize that strength extremely, extremely well. So now, as you think about it, I know you're exhausted, I know you'd like to go home, but after you get a good night's rest and it really hits you in the morning, what do you think you're going to do to prepare for the World Series?
Make some phone calls, put some feelers out, talk to some people who've been involved, and ask them for some opinions.
Good, good, excellent. Well, congratulations again. It was a phenomenal tournament. It couldn't have been more happy for you, and you played really, really well.
Show the jack. Yes! Yes!
We started out the day with 267 players. After 2 days and 20 hours, we now have our champion. Person who has fought at the Eastern Poker Tour's Tournament of Champions to win the 2008 World Series main event seat. So for Spiro Mitrakostas, I'm Bernard Lee. Congratulations to Greg, and we will see you June 22nd for the second Tournament of Champions. Check EasternPokerTour.com for details, and have a great, great summer.
If you think you have what it takes to make it to the next final table at the EPT Tournament of Champions, log on to www.easternpokertour.com to see how Eastern Poker Tour and Bodog can put you in the spotlight and make your poker dreams a reality.
I just want to say thank you to the Eastern Poker Tour. It's been very good to me. I had a lot of fun here.
I mean, it's gotten so much better, but the incentives and just how it's run, everything has been fantastic.
Yes! The Eastern Poker Tour is a series of free pub poker tournaments held throughout New England. Just win one free pub tournament and you guarantee yourself a seat at the next televised Tournament of Champions. For more information and a schedule of local events, log on to easternpokertour.com.